Hi guys, One Radio here back again for another video. On today's video then, we will be looking at every single club's highest earner. Now some of these wages are absolutely redonkulous. They are so high, it's ridiculous. Now I need to mention before we start this video, this list was made before the new signings have been put into the database. So for example, Lewis O'Brien for Wrexham will not be included, even though he is probably their highest earner. Obviously the database I think updates after the window ends, so I'm not waiting until after the window ends. I want to do this now. Obviously when I do this in the future, maybe in the season, January time, I can include new signings. But this is just players who are contracted to the club prior to the summer transfer window. So yeah, let's get into it. Birmingham City, their highest earner is Christoph Clara, £22,000 a week. Now, I thought he'd be on more than this, to be honest. He's a very, very good defender, outstanding last season. And yeah, I think he's going to be one of Birmingham's main men if they're going to have a great season. He was really good last season. And yeah, he's been a fantastic addition for Birmingham City. Blackburn Rovers, Todd Cantwell, who is on £20,000 a week. That's £1.04 million a year before tax. And Christoph Clara, I forgot to mention, is on 1.1 mil a year before tax. But yeah, Cantwell, 20 grand a week. Well, Cantwell used to be a great player. These days, yeah, he's a bit finished now, and he Cantwell. I remember him at Norwich in the Prem, you know, he was linked to him being moved for like £50 million and ridiculous fees like that. But yeah, his career's kind of just faded out, and now he's just wasting away in the Championship. Bristol City, Luke McNally is and Fali Maloyu, I think that's how you pronounce it. No, I think I said that wrong. Fali Mayulu, I think that's way better. Both of those are on the same contract, and the highest earners at the Robins, £18,000 a week, which equates to £936,000 a year. Now, I don't know too much about Fali Mayulu. I know he was on loan for the second half of last season. Luke McNally also had a bit of a bad injury, but it's been a very good addition from Burnley and very good centre-back as well. Charlton Athletic, now this is one of the highest wages in the Championship. Got former Luton Town man Luke Berry, £15,000 a week, which equates to £780,000 a year. So pennies in terms of a Championship footballer these days. But yeah, Luke Berry's been around the block for a number of years now. Like I said, knows Nathan Jones from his prior time at Luton Town as well. And yeah, Nathan Jones using his connections there to get more and more Luton Town players in. So yeah, Luke Berry, decent footballer, but in terms of this list, one of the lowest on the list. Coventry City. Now, this is surprising for me. Louis Binks is on 30,000 grand a week, £30,000 a year. £30,000 a week, sorry, not a year. And that equates to 1.56 million a year. Now, I thought Hadji Wright, Ellis Sims, maybe Matt Grimes potentially would be the highest Coventry earner, but no, Louis Binks is. Now, Binks is a very good player. Again, done very well for Coventry. Coventry do have a few of the higher earners in terms of the Championship teams, obviously not including the recent relegated sides because their wages are astronomical. But yeah, I thought it'd be someone a bit different apart from Louis Binks. Derby County, Matt Clark is on £20,000 a week, which equates to 1.04 million a year. Now, a bit of a shame with Matt Clark. Always been a good defender at this level. Did get injured in Derby's last friendly, so he looks like he may miss the start of the season. But yeah, I think he's a very good centre-back, solid, pops in with a few goals, and he's an absolute unit at the back. Hull City, Ryan Giles. I think it's the highest wage so far, £35,000 a week. That equates to 1.82 million a year. Now, I've got to be honest, I thought Ryan Giles a couple of seasons ago was a world beater at this level. He was really, really good, flying down that wing-back role. Was very impressive, but I feel like his career's kind of stagnated a little bit. You know, he's had a few moves now. Luton, I didn't think he was great at. Obviously, when he went to Boro, I didn't think he was amazing at Boro either. But yeah, his career's kind of like stalwarted a little bit. Obviously, he's still a player in there, but I just feel like he needs to get back to his best. Ipswich Town, their highest earners are Arnaud Murridge, the goalkeeper, who seems to be back up this season, and Dara O'Shea, who they signed from Hull City. Both of those are on £35,000 a week, with their wages across the year being £1.82 million a year. So yeah, Murridge stealing a living. I didn't think he was a great keeper at Forest when he went on loan from Man City all those years back. So he was pretty terrible for them. Obviously, he had a half-decent season with Burnley. And then, yeah, at Ipswich, he's been a complete flop, really, hasn't he? But Dara O'Shea at this level is absolutely amazing. One of the best in this division completely. Was fantastic for West Bromwich Albion and was pretty solid for Ipswich last year as well. Leicester City, just wait for this. Harry Winks is on a reported £90,000 a week. Now, I'm not sure if this wage will be that because of Championship relegation clauses. And obviously, most teams have like a 15% wage cut if they drop down just for FFP reasons. But obviously, that's not been updated for this. But yeah, still 90 grand a week, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. And, yeah, you know, for Harry Winks, he's not that good, is he, for 90 grand a week? But yeah, he's on 4.68 million a year before tax, which... yeah, imagine being Harry Winks. Not very good at football and getting paid that amount of money. But look, Leicester, their wage bill is through the roof. That's going to be for another video where I talk about every team's individual wage bill. And theirs absolutely through the roof. But yeah, Winks, 90 grand a week. He must be loving life. Middlesbrough. We've got veteran Luke Ayling, who's their highest earner on £30,000 a week, and that equates to £1.56 million a year. And Luke Ayling, again, been around the block for a donkey's number of years now. Obviously, at Leeds was very good. His legs have kind of gone, and, you know, I assume he'll be more of a backup option for Middlesbrough this season with his age coming on now. But yeah, look, still's got a lot of leadership skills, can bring a lot of quality, but obviously his best days are behind him now. Millwall, no real surprise in this one, as he is a Premier League quality defender. Japhet Tanganga is on a reported £35,000 a year. Again, equivalent to 1.82 million a year. Sorry, £35,000 per week, which equates to 1.82 million a year. If you only have 35 grand a year, bloody hell, would he even have a house? But yeah, Tanganga, it's weird with him, right? He's got a clause in his contract, which means if any Premier League club wants him, there's got a clause of 1.5 million. But any teams outside of the Premier League, they're going to have to pay 3-4 million just to get him. Now, I think Millwall were very lucky to get this signing. I think with him being a Tottenham player and obviously Millwall being located in London, you know, I think Millwall got lucky with their location there because they probably just want to move away from London. But look, he's a great player. Obviously, Millwall did very well to bring him in. But like I said, I think their location helped massively with this one. On terms of Norwich then, Shane Duffy, the veteran Irish defender, £35,000 a week, which equates again to 1.82 million a year. Now, Shane Duffy, again, best days are behind him, similar with Luke Ayling, but Duffy does play quite a considerable amount of minutes for Norwich, which I'm not too sure about that. Obviously, he's a very, very big defender. Obviously, can pop up with a few goals with his height and physicality. Obviously, his legs aren't the best now. Obviously, he's quite a very slow defender on the turn. But look, he still brings leadership and can bring quality and brings captain material as well. Oxford United, again, one of the smaller wage budgets in the league. We got former West Brom winger Matt Phillips. He's on £17,500 a week, which equates to £910,000 a year. Phillips, again, similar player to some of the other ones I mentioned, veteran at this level now. Again, best days are behind him. Obviously, the brain will still be there. The tactical nous of being a footballer will still be there. But obviously, in terms of being a winger, probably will be more central player now. You know, just won't be able to get past his man. Portsmouth, another veteran, Matt Ritchie, £15,000 per week, which equates to £780,000 a year. Now, Matt Ritchie, we all know, is a phenomenal player. Well, used to be anyway. Newcastle, Bournemouth, great player. Portsmouth last season, you know, I thought he started off a bit slow, but towards the end of the season was a bit vital for Portsmouth and did pop up a few goals. Obviously, their main player, Josh Murphy, was incredible. I'm surprised he is not the biggest wage person at Portsmouth, but obviously, with it being a bit of a relatively slow database, it could be Murphy. So some of these may be incorrect, but a lot of these are factual. Preston North End, we've got two players, Liam Lindsay and Ali McCann, both on £15,000 per week, which equates to £780,000 a year. Don't know too much about Ali McCann. I was looking at his stats earlier, and he did have quite a successful season with Preston last season. He's been there for a while now, since coming in from St Johnston. He's been quite good. And Liam Lindsay, I think, is a very good centre-back as well. I really rate Liam Lindsay. Queen's Park Rangers, another veteran. This may just be a veteran list. We've got central defender Steve Cook, £30,000 a week for Steve Cook, 1.56 million a year. Now, Steve Cook, again, fantastic experience with Bournemouth, helped Forest a few seasons ago to gain promotion from the Championship, and as soon as they got up, he was binned off. So thanks for getting us promoted, but see you later. I did see him have a bit of beef with a QPR fan on Twitter the other day, saying his legs are gone and they asked him for a race. So a bit of beef there, but again, similar with these players where, you know, they are approaching a certain age now, so they will lose that yard of pace. But I think Steve Cook at Championship level, and the way QPR Stadium is with it being so tight, I don't think that'll be a problem, really. Sheffield United then, my word, listen to this list. We've got several players on the same wage. You've got Gus Hamer, Anel Amahojevic, Tom Davis, and I think it's Ivo Gurbich, the goalkeeper, garbage keeper, by the way. They are all on a reported £30,000 a week, which equates to 1.56 million a year. So yeah, in terms of Gus Hamer, Amahojevic, totally deserved. Tom Davis, you know, still a decent player in there, but I don't know if he deserves to be on those sorts of wages with those players. And Gerbage, my God, what a terrible signing he's been for Sheffield United. Obviously, he was loaned out last season. He's still amongst their ranks at the moment. And yeah, for him to be on more money than Michael Cooper is an absolute joke. But yeah, Gus Hamer, Hamhovic, still there at the moment. Obviously, they have lost Vinny Souza, who's gone. But yeah, Keith Moore potentially out the door as well. He's on a big wage, but not as big as these players. Sheffield Wednesday, now there were obviously the main man Barry Bannon, but at the moment he is actually not contracted at Sheffield Wednesday, so technically he is not a Sheffield Wednesday player. So we've got Ike Ukbo, who was on £20,000 a week, which equates to 1.4 million a year. Now Ukbo, no goals last season. Season before that, he was amazing. They signed him permanently, and he was an absolute flop last season. And obviously, as I'm recording this today, Danny Rowell has officially left Sheffield Wednesday. So technically, recording today on the Tuesday. 12 days is the start of the season for Sheffield Wednesday. They've got, I think, 11 players over the age of 21, and they've got no captain, and they've got no manager. Great time to be a Sheffield Wednesday fan, but don't worry, at least you've got Ukbo as your highest paid player. Southampton. This is the biggest one in this video, and this player is on over-reported £120,000 a week. Now, this player has been highly linked with a move to a Premier League club, so the time this video comes out, he could not be no longer a Southampton player, but it's Aaron Ramsdale at Southampton. He's on a report, like I said, £120,000 a week, which equates to £6.24 million a year. Wow. Not bad for a player who gets relegated every season. He's had a couple of sets of relegations now, Bournemouth, Sheffield United, and now Southampton, and now he's going to Newcastle reportedly, so we'll be seeing Newcastle in the Championship next season then. Under Stoke City, Ben Gibson, £35,000 a week, 1.82 million a year. Ben Gibson, I used to rate him when he was a youngster at Boro, obviously went to Norwich, but yeah, I don't really think he's that good these days. Obviously, him being the highest earner is a little bit of a joke. Obviously, Stoke have a lot of better players than that. Obviously, Wouter Berger, when he was there a few weeks ago, he wasn't even their highest earner. But yeah, Ben Gibson, the highest earner. I was a bit surprised with that one. On to my club, Swansea City. Now, I was incredibly surprised by this one. Obviously, we all knew Matt Grimes would be the highest earner, but obviously after he put a transfer request in January and left the club, he is no longer the highest earner. Now, I'll let you guys have a guess quickly. Get your comments in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lawrence Vigouroux is our highest earner, reportedly. He is on £15,000 per week, which equates to £780,000 a year. Now, of course, Franco was amazing, but of course we're not sure what sort of wage he was on coming in from the Portuguese league. Obviously, Cabango signed a new deal recently, and he got Anusa, who cost over £5 million. So those are new players won't be in a database at the moment. Obviously, I think it takes like a year for these new players to actually register in the database. So after they pay tax, essentially. But yeah, Vigouroux on 15 grand a week, quite cheeky actually, very cheeky, but I think he's proved every penny so far. On to the W's then. Watford, we've got Musa Sissoko, of course, former Premier League player with Watford and Newcastle. He's on a reported £45,000 a week. Now, his discipline record was a bit of a shambles last season. Some of the red cards he got last season, what was he doing? But look, on his day, he's a good player, and obviously did show last season he has still got that capability at this level. But his discipline record, man, he needs to improve that with his age. But yeah, he's on 2.34 million a year. So look, I think Sissoko's a good player, but he would frustrate the hell out of me if he played for my team. West Bromwich Albion, the injury man himself, Daryl Dike. Now this reported wage is so weird. £32,308 per week. Very specific. And that equates to 1.68 million a year. Now, DK, such an unfortunate career for him, man. At Barnsley, when he was on loan from America, I think it was Orlando City, absolutely ripped it up. Then he got Barnsley into the playoffs, which no one expected. And obviously, when Vladimir Ishmael, former Barnsley boss, went to West Brom, he signed DK straight away. But yeah, he's had a horrid record with ACL injuries. But yeah, hopefully he can stay fit. But look, if he gets one more, he may just have to call it a day. On to the last team, Wrexham. No, it's not as big of a wage you'd assume. Obviously, with Wrexham still having a lot of players from their League One days, obviously they couldn't have ridiculous wages. So I think people do overestimate Wrexham's wage bill a little bit. Obviously, you'd assume Lewis O'Brien is now the highest earner, but apparently the highest earner at the moment, obviously not including Lewis O'Brien, is Jay Rodriguez. £25,000 a week. I think that's quite fair. 1.3 million a year. Last time he was in the Championship, scored a few goals for Burnley. Obviously, he is approaching the end of his career, but you know, in those big moments, he can pop up with a goal, and Wrexham have a lot of experience in their team now. But anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, the majority of these are factual, but obviously if I got your team wrong, then I do apologise. That's just the database. Obviously, it hasn't included new signings or the players from like the last 6 to 8 months, just because it takes a while to update the database. But yeah, that's the reported fees. Obviously, some of these teams you'd expect are paying high wages aren't paying that sort of money. But yeah, I just thought it was quite interesting to look at. And on the next video, I'll be doing teams' wage bill, and I won't follow in this, but some of the teams' wage bill, man, is ridiculous. And of course, Swansea are down here, and you got some teams. There's one team in Pacific who's on over £1 million. Ridiculous. But yeah, we'll go on to that next time. If you did enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. Show you, I need one more chance. Oh.